Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Movie maker and YouTube creator Swoop, or Spanky, has uploaded recently a video on her YouTube channel exposing her friend Mikey from the channel Glam&Gore. And now she has come into her video comment pinning some updates to us all on the situation. But before we start spilling all of this tea, go down below and subscribe to the channel, and do not forget to ring the bell button so you can get notified every time I post. Literally 24 hours after Swoop's video went up on YouTube, Mikey ran to her Instagram stories to post an apology. If you have already heard this apology, it's a book. It's really long. So if you don't want to do it again, please skip to minute 5:59.
I'm sorry for my behavior in years past, and I should have said this sooner. I ignorantly, selfishly, truly have not understood, nor did I take the time to listen about others' hardships when I was so consumed and angered with my own problems. I equated things that are not equatable. I've said a lot of things that I regret, that I feel didn't reflect who I am today. I am ashamed of jokes I've made in the past that I excused as edgy humor. I'm ashamed at times I've been incredibly tone deaf and excused that even in past apologies by my well-meaning intentions. If I'm missing the mark, good intentions or not, I'm missing the mark and should have been listening. And some things weren't simply missing the mark, they were plain wrong. The Rihanna mentioned in the Bruce tutorial. In truth, I have wanted them to go away because the thought of addressing it out of seemingly nowhere terrified me. I have been afraid of being condemned for my past actions forever. I have changed a lot in the past 2 years, and I am so ashamed of who I used to be, how self-absorbed I was, the way I used to direct my own insecurities onto other people, the way I've been so defensive, the way I refuse to listen. But you are owed an apology, and I've been too coward to say it. It took me seeing a lot of my own problems through some events I went through last year that very few people in my life know about, to start to open to basics I always should have and wished I had been open to long beforehand. I've been dealing with this privately, but I do not like who I used to be, and I have been working on this. I have lacked empathy, and I have lacked patience, and I've lacked courage. I had hoped my future actions would show that I don't stand by things I've said or done in the past, but I should have apologized as well. Again, I was choosing the comfort of myself over the comfort of those I have hurt. This is coming too late, and sorry not nearly enough, but I am deeply sorry. Learning how to be a good ally will be a lifelong journey, but I want to listen, to grow, and to be better. As far as personal things that have gone on between Spanky and I, a lot of things were shared or omitted without the full context, which does change some conversations, but I understand that even without full context, that doesn't make it any less harmful today. It's uncomfortable for me to get this personal online, but I understand my comfort has come at a deterrent to others, so I need to address this. In short, we were very, very close at one point. I trusted her, and we vented together often about the beauty community. A lot of my insecurities and jealousy issues came through in deplorable ways that were said in anger and frustration. I was feeling bad for myself when I shouldn't have, and aimed those feelings at those succeeding around me in an attempt to cope with my own problems. With Spanky, I tried to console her in ways that I would hope would help when she was at a low point, and I looked for any upside that I could possibly find, but I understand why I was ultimately selfish and way off the mark and how I tried to do that. I missed her frustrations due to my own arrogance, and I wish I had been a better friend and a better listener. The truth is, I did not know she felt most of these things until now, and it will take some time examining my own perspective and listening to how it got here, as my intent was never to hurt her. But again, I understand intent is not the end-all be-all, so I should take responsibility for how badly my intent did not align with my actions. In 2018 and 2019, I was going through my own dark things that she did not know about at times when I did not reply back to her. It wasn't personal, and I alluded to this once but never got into detail about it. With regard to her, I reached out about them because of what was mentioned in this later text. I assumed this was omitted for my privacy, but this was why. Her tweets impacted me as someone who has struggled speaking about my own experiences because of internalization of guilt, she mentioned. I don't say this to garner sympathy. I just wanted to be abundantly clear that it helped me when I saw her tweets, which is why I asked if I could share the tweet. When she didn't reply, I did not share it. Ultimately, it is my fault that I didn't realize all of the times I upset her over the years, and that I did not provide her an environment where she felt safe to discuss this. So please do not give her any hate. I'd like to work it out privately if she wants to talk, and if not, I understand that as well. I don't want to pester her if she didn't want to talk then, but with this now, I feel like I should try again. I am grateful she called me out on things I'm ashamed of from my past, because an apology was needed for that, and I know she just wants better for those who have been hurt. I hope we can find some kind of resolution for everything that's gone on between us as friends. I'm so sorry to Spanky, the BIPOC, and the LGBTQ plus community who were hurt by this, and I promise to do better moving forward.
Spanky, aka Swoop, also did not waste any time and wrote a very lengthy response in a pinned comment in her original video. Update. Answering some of your questions. Number 1, did you even try to talk to her about this stuff? Yes, I did, as I showed in the video, and I shared some screenshots in the video because I guessed people would jump into that conclusion. When I tried to talk to her about this stuff, I got the same type of response. She would flip it on me, invalidate my feelings, experiences, and there was a time that she got quite angry at me, and it became a very hurtful argument. I included screenshots. I hope people someday understand that lighting is very destructive mentally, especially when it happens over time. And it's nearly impossible to recognize when it happens to you by its very definition. But there has to come a point where when you see that someone does not want to listen and that you have to pull back from them and stop trying, as it takes a toll on your mental health. And eventually, I had to stop responding for my own well-being. At the end of the day, I won't try to force someone to listen and learn. And ultimately, it is not the responsibility of every BIPOC or POC to have to make someone understand our experience. I took this to her. She rejected it many times, and I stopped taking it to her. Why are you talking about this publicly? Firstly, much of what I talked about was public knowledge. I really wish people would allow especially BIPOC, to tell their stories in whatever format they need. That contributes to culture. As I mentioned in the video, I believe we have a responsibility to call out behavior that harms our communities. I fully believe that if this were a brand or a politician or a teacher or a traditional celebrity or a pastor or a boyfriend, that no one would have a problem with me talking about this publicly. You would be encouraged. So why do we not hold influencers who literally call themselves a brand to the same accountability as other public figures? Influencers who hold a lot of power these days. I am not sure why people so desperately want influencers, especially powerful ones, to be able to be one way behind the scenes while projecting a different narrative publicly without accountability. Was this the right thing to do? I believe so. I spent a lot of time thinking over all of this, and I knew I would get a ton of hate, but I felt a responsibility to try and help someone hopefully learn about the experiences of so many. I tried many times to talk to her about this, see video for screenshots, and every time how many times should I go to someone privately just to be, at this point, I felt it was so much bigger than me, and that there is a very real chance people can learn something about this type of behavior and hopefully change how to treat me. You omitted text. I did not include her text saying she was, because I would never out someone if they have not openly talked about it, which she has not. So of course I cut that out, and it has no bearing on how manipulative her message felt. She never told me that my trauma gave her personal comfort, nor that she personally found it comforting. I did not respond to her initial message about nor her asking to share my trauma. So she followed up later by saying she was, as a means to say she knows people can be mean. She did not say she wanted to share it because it made her feel comforted. I have not heard from her in 7 months. Even during the peak of the civil rights movement, she had a perfect opportunity to finally talk and listen to me about, and especially after she saw my film about it. Yet, she chose to say nothing. Instead, I feel very strongly that she saw my story as a way to manipulate me into thinking she cared for public appearances without having to even talk about the fact that I am even sitting here defending my feelings around my trauma is sad. But that's the world we live in, and I opened the door. Any other texts submitted were the remaining texts where she said positive things after saying very false things. I discussed all of this in the video and share a screenshot of some of her nice things said. That's how it works. They say nice things, then flip it and invalidate your experience. Then flip it back and say nice things to confuse and manipulate you. It's called a compliment sandwich. This is just cancel culture. I do not believe asking for accountability is cancel culture. I know people love to throw the word cancel around, but I never did. If we, especially my cannot speak up about our experiences of my without being written off as cancel culture, then in my opinion, we are erasing stories that should be shared in hopes of pushing the conversation of equality forward. This is just petty beauty drama. I'm guessing you most likely didn't watch the entire video, which is your choice. I believe the topics of this video are far more important to discuss and go far beyond some drama with a friend. These topics of my inclinations, lighting, manipulation, etc. are things that affect every single minority I have ever known, and so often gets swept under the rug. Happens in private, is written off as just deal with it and shut up, and is hurting so many people who feel unseen and unheard. You're not perfect. Of course I'm not. I'm far from it. As I said in the video, toxic breeds toxic, and I 100% said some crappy things about James and thinking he copied other creators early on. That is why I included the screenshots of some of the stuff I said to call myself out. Did I do it to join the drag James theme that she often engaged in? Yes. Is that her fault that I said those things? Absolutely not. That was my mistake and my choice, regardless of who else was doing it, and I should not have. While I don't know James, I never intended to try somehow use him to collab. It's no excuse. I will do better. The very fact that I have been called every in the book as a result of making this video tells me that we have so much work to do. I'm glad the conversations are happening and that we are seeing more than just a sea of black squares posted on social media. You don't have to like me. Most of the time, I'm my own greatest enemy, but I do hope you listen to the stories of. And there we have it. So that's what Swoop have posted in her pinned comment in her video as an answer or a clarification to whatever Mikey had posted at her 24-hour apology that was in her Instagram stories, and it's probably gone by now. It's kind of hard to know or to have an educated opinion on what to believe when you are an outsider looking in, but the only thing that I can say at this moment is that I wish that Mikey had done something other than just a written apology that lasted 24 hours. It really made me feel like that the whole issue is not as important to her to be addressed as seems like to be for Swoop. Swoop and Mikey were friends for a long while, so only them two know each other well enough to judge what would work in this resolution. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think about this. What is your take on the pinned comment that she left for us and obviously for Mikey? I'm very curious to know. And let's see if Mikey is going to answer to this, and hopefully with a video. But this is it for me, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to press that like button. Follow me on social media. All of my socials are going to be down below in the description box. Also, if you haven't yet, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and ring the bell button so you can get notified every time I post. I'll see you in the next upload. Bye!